What if the richest people on earth have been hiding a secret playbook to build wealth, and today you're getting access to it? While most chase quick money, the elite master rules they'll never admit aloud. Let's expose them. 90% of millionaires avoid public investment forums. Why? Because the real opportunities aren't found in crowded spaces. Imagine a room where Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, and unseen innovators trade strategies too valuable for mainstream platforms. These groups operate under one rule. The wealthy don't build empires alone. They engineer alliances. Think of Mark Cuban, who credits his first billion to a single connection in a private tech circle. But here's the catch. These circles don't advertise. They recruit silently, favoring those who solve high-stakes problems. The first step isn't money. It's leverage. Sharpen a skill that solves high-value problems, and doors crack open. But wait, what's lurking behind those doors? A system where time, not money, is the ultimate currency. Warren Buffett turned $10,000 into $100 billion by mastering a principle most ignore. While others chase overnight wins, the wealthy play a slower, darker game. The average investor panics during crashes. The elite, they're already 3 steps ahead, capitalizing on fear they helped create. Private networks thrive on cold, calculated asymmetry. You've been told to diversify, follow trends, play safe, but the rules are inverted at the top. Scarcity isn't natural. It's engineered. Luxury brands don't sell products. They sell exclusivity. The same principle applies to billionaire wealth strategies. Limited supply, controlled access, artificial demand. Now, the critical question, what skill do you possess that could unlock these rooms? Coding? Negotiation? Market forecasting? Own it ruthlessly. The first move is yours. But hesitate, and the window closes. Warren Buffett didn't turn $10,000 into $100 billion by chasing trends. He did it by rejecting the entire world's obsession with speed. While others trade stocks daily, he sits silently, letting decades compound his choices into avalanches of value. Here's the brutal truth. The middle class glorifies hustle. The wealthy worship patience. They know a dollar today could be worth thousands tomorrow if untouched. But this isn't passive waiting. It's strategic hibernation. Think of compound growth as a snowball rolling down a mountain. Unstoppable momentum. Yet 99% abandon the process early, lured by instant rewards. The rich pay knee, the range distractions. They let their money and their decisions marinate. But how? By engineering environments that enforce discipline. Automatic investments, untouchable accounts, self-imposed barriers to impulsive selling. The average person's portfolio is a battlefield of emotional trades. The elite portfolio, a vault sealed shut. Now, the sinister twist. Time manipulation isn't just about waiting. It's about stealing others' wasted time. Billionaires exploit gaps where the masses act rashly, panic selling assets during crashes, dumping undervalued real estate in recessions. While the public overthinks short-term losses, the wealthy acquire those assets at fire sale prices. They turn your fear into their leverage. But you don't need billions to start. You need a calendar, not a... Reallocate hours spent scrolling into researching one niche market. Replace dopamine-driven spending with curiosity-driven learning. The gap between rich and poor isn't money. It's how they perceive the next 10 years. Most see a blur. The wealthy see a chessboard, each move calculated to corner future value. And right now, they're eyeing a hidden opportunity you've overlooked. One tied not to money, but to your brain's deepest instincts. 95% of investors lose money during market crashes, but billionaires multiply their wealth in the same chaos. How? They've hacked the brain's panic response. When headlines scream recession, the average person sees danger. The elite see a clearance sale. Your amygdala floods your body with fear, urging you to sell everything. Their trained prefrontal cortex coldly calculate future value. This mental division isn't genetic, it's engineered. The wealthy reverse engineer panic cycles, mapping exactly when human irrationality peaks. They know fear spreads faster than logic, creating mispriced assets. But here's what no one tells you. You don't need a finance degree to exploit this. You need a pre-written playbook for crises. Start by studying historical market recoveries. The 2008 crash saw real estate prices drop by 40%. Those who bought then tripled their investment in 5 years. Now, the critical pattern. Mass panic follows predictable stages. Denial, anxiety, capitulation. Billionaires buy during capitulation, when despair peaks. To replicate this, create a list of assets you'd acquire if prices dropped by 50%. Updated quarterly. But knowledge isn't enough. You must desensitize your brain to financial fear. Practice mental contrasting. Visualize losing money, then recovering. Repeated exposure reduces panic's grip. Meanwhile, the wealthy are already positioning for the next crisis. They're quietly accumulating sectors the public hates. Old energy, brick-and-mortar retail, regional banking. Next time markets plunge, ask, what's being undervalued due to collective trauma? The answer hides in plain sight, if you silence the noise. But surviving crashes isn't the endgame, in's the gateway. Because once you've mastered fear, you'll face an even darker secret: how ordinary resources become priceless through artificial scarcity. Artificial scarcity isn't luck, it's psychological warfare. Diamonds are just carbon crystals. Yet one company transformed them into symbols of eternal love by controlling supply. De Beers stockpiled mines for decades, releasing just enough to inflate prices 200%. The lesson: value isn't about resources. It's about controlling perception. Billionaires create false shortages to trigger primal FOMO. Tech companies do it with limited edition features. Artists do it with numbered prints. Ever noticed how top consultants share 90% of their content free, but lock the critical 10% behind 5-figure courses? That's artificial scarcity engineered. The pattern is universal. Identify something abundant. Restrict X. Amplify desire. But here's where it gets unethical. The wealthy don't just limit supply. They manufacture crises. Oil companies suddenly discover production issues during high demand. Prices skyrocket. The public panics. Profits surge. To mimic this ethically, focus on your niche. A blogger could sunset access to archives. The key is enforcing constraints that signal premium status. Luxury brands burn unsold inventory rather than tech. Share valuable insights freely, but reserve game-changing strategies for a tight inner circle. The human brain equates scarcity with value, even when logic disagrees. They buy islands not because they need them, but because others can't. Now, reverse engineer their playbook. Audit your assets. What's abundant that you can strategically restrict? Time, expertise, connections. The final piece isn't about money. It's about rewriting how others perceive your worth. But be warned, once you start this game, there's no going back. Because scarcity creates dependency. That's where true power lives. The blueprint for massive wealth isn't found, it's forged. Combine invisible networks, time manipulation, crisis exploitation, and artificial scarcity, and you unlock a system designed to bypass competition. But here's the unspoken truth. No billionaire uses just one strategy. They layer them like armor. Private alliances provide insider knowledge. Time compounding multiplies it. Crisis opportunism accelerates growth. Scarcity engineering locks in dominance. Together, they form an unstoppable loop. Yet most people focus on isolated tactics. A stock tip here, a savings hack there. The elite stack systems. Not with money, with mindset. Rewire your brain to see time as a harvestable crop, crises as fertilizer, and relationships as multipliers. Begin auditing your daily inputs. What news drains your focus? What habits sabotage delayed gratification? Replace them with historical market data. Study how oil tycoons profited during the 1970s embargo. Analyze how tech founders exploited the 2000 dot-com crash. The wealthy know this. They don't predict the future. They recycle the past. Your move: build a library of crisis case studies. Identify 3 sectors currently hated by the mainstream. Track their fundamentals. When the next panic hits, you'll act while others freeze. But action alone isn't enough. You must become a scarcity architect. Audit your skills. What can you frame as rare? A multilingual engineer positions themselves differently than a generic. A marketer who understands neuromarketing triggers charges 10 times more. The final secret: wealth isn't about having. It's about withholding. Share 90% of your knowledge freely to build authority. Lock the remaining 10% behind mentorship or premium networks. This isn't greed, it's strategic positioning. The clock is ticking. Every second spent hesitating, someone else is applying these rules. The playbook is in your hands. Will you memorize it or return it to the shadows? The choice is binary: obscurity or abundance. The gate is open, but for how long?